What's up, y'all? I'm out here at the range, as you can see back behind me, on what's turned out to be a beautiful day as far as the weather. I think the temps are right around 50. It was really breezy out here, which was making it pretty cold, but now that the sun's up, the gusts of wind just about stopped, and it's very nice. So it should be really nice to get these couple of last tests done for the day. This one right here ought to be a good 10 mil test. So of course, the jelly contraption set up with the 2 chronos and a couple of blocks of gel. I've done 1 test so far in these, and it stayed in the backside back here. Really interesting 357 and 9 mil test, so I'll leave a link above if y'all hadn't seen that. Plenty of room though to get this 10 mil test done. Of course, as you can see, I'm using my heavy clothing barrier with the layer of denim, fleece, and 2 layers of cotton t-shirt. And for this one here, we've got some 10 mil from Underwood that I've actually just been hesitant to pick up because I really don't see the point in it. Now, one of these I've tested before. So what we got here is the Underwood 10 mil 150 grain item 235, and then the 155 grain item 232. Now these 155s are one of my favorite 10 mil load. I would put it right there with my Buffalo Bore 180 as far as a carry type round. Very nice energy, incredibly nice expansion, penetration. It basically just has it all. So I really like this 155. Now they're saying 1500 feet per second on this. The last test I did, I believe, with this same G20 was a little bit over that 1500. So you get the energy and velocity that they're saying. Just a very nice round. And then you've got this 150 grain here, the item 235. Now this is an XTP, if I didn't mention that in the 155. Here's a look at the cartridge here. Nice nickel plated case with the XTP projectile. And then the 150 grain here, now it's different projectiles. Why I mentioned that, this is actually a Nosler Sporting projectile. Here you can see again, nice nickel plated case, but definitely a difference on the projectile. The biggest difference that I can see is the opening, not really so much the size of the opening, but the way that the angled opening, the way the angle of it is, it's angled in on this Nosler on the left and not so much on the XTP. But the reason I've always been hesitant to even bother with this 150 is because it's the same velocity. They're saying 1500 on it also. So I don't get the point in this. I don't understand why you would give up 5 grains of weight. I mean, and that's just a little energy you're giving up. So if you're getting the same velocity, unless there's some drastic performance difference from these projectiles in the gel, as of right now, I do not see the point in this 150 grain load. But maybe this Nosler show me some kind of strange magic and change my mind. As far as what I'm running them out of, again, I'm sticking with this Glock 20 because I've tested so many rounds in this. It's just really easy for me to look back or think back as far as comparing the velocity. So the G20 Gen 4, not to mention, like I always say, it is the alpha 10 mil, period. That's just the way it is. Gen 4 G20 with the 4.6 inch barrel. So I'm personally really interested to see what happens right here. As of right now, again, I don't see any point in purposely giving up the extra energy. I don't see a point at all, but maybe this stuff will show me something different. Let's get it set up and see what happens. All right, let's get us some numbers out of this stuff, y'all. I'm gonna do a 5-round average from each weight, starting with the 155 first. Now you're gonna see multiple velocity readings out of this radar. Your large number is right here at the muzzle, and then you've got 5 across the bottom. The first one there is set for 3 yards, which is roughly where the gel is here at 10 feet. And then I've got the other set for 10, 15, 25, and 50 yards. Now remember, they're saying 1500 on this, and I've seen over that in the previous test, so I expect 1500. To me, this is gonna be really the most telling part of this particular test, because I think we're gonna get similar results in the gel, but this is gonna make a difference as far as if you're giving up energy or not. 1412, 1393, 1399, 1392, and 1437. So about what I figured, a little bit lower on a couple of them, but this should still be well above the average. Let's check it out. All right, I actually confused myself right there. I was thinking 1400 for some reason, but they're actually saying 1500, and I'm almost positive I did hit 1500 last time with this stuff, but we didn't this time. We had a 5-round average of 1407, an extreme spread of 45 with a 19.0 standard deviation. So almost 100 off from the 1500. Now, does that make this a bad 10 mil round? Absolutely not, because even at 1400, I mean, you're still knocking on the door of 700 foot-pounds, a little bit under 700 foot-pounds, so not bad at all. It's just strange that, like I say, I'm pretty sure I remember hitting 1500. Now, we had one at 1437. It's a little chilly out here, but I mean, it's almost short sleeve weather, so I don't think really you can give all that to any kind of cold weather. But for whatever the case, it is a little bit lower this time. Let me reset it and see what those 150s do. All right, let's see what these 150s do, y'all. This could get interesting right here with that 155 being as low as it is this time. Obviously, if this is the same velocity, it's going to be a little bit less energy. And when I'm saying less or more energy between these two, I'm talking very, very minimal, 20 foot-pounds, maybe something like that. But if this stuff hits, I mean, just as little extra as 1450, then it's going to be a little bit more than the 155. So definitely mixes things up with that 155 being slower, but let's see what we get out of this stuff. 1462, 1421, 1476, 1429, and 1416. So there you go, exactly what I just talked about. This is going to be over 1450, probably right there at, so it's going to actually have more energy. Let's check out the numbers. All right, definitely some interesting stuff right here. Our 5-round average that time was actually 1441 feet per second. We had an extreme spread of 60, which is getting on up there with a 26.6 standard deviation. So not quite the 1450 I was doing in my head, but I think that still gives it a little bit of edge over that 155, which looking at box info makes 0 sense. If you were looking just on the numbers and picking one of these out and you wanted that extra bit of energy, you would go with the 155. But if you got the performance that we saw here today so far, you would be missing out on the energy based on the 150 having a little bit more. But anyway, 1441 here, and if you remember on that 155, it was 1407, so you're only talking about 34 feet per second difference between these. So, I mean, for all intents and purposes, that's well within any kind of spreads out here, any kind of margins of error. So they probably are basically loaded exactly the same, maybe just a little bit of margin for error as far as manufacturing tolerances here and there. But I really don't have any doubt both of these are going to do a fantastic job in the gel, but I am very curious to see what kind of difference we get. Let's get it all set up. Y'all know what time it is. All right, y'all, it's getting more with -5. Just don't jive jelly time. I'm going to put one of each into the gel, starting with this 155 first. No doubt we're going to see good performance from both of these. I'm just really curious of what kind of difference there might be. All right, that one should have been very nice right there. Let's go see what it looks like. All right, absolutely no surprise down there. That 155 load from Underwood is just such a good 10 mil round. I mean, it's a fantastic round. That's just all there is to it. Unfortunately, my doggone claw flew off the block because it smacked it so hard, and I think it beat the processing of my optical chrono right here. It covered up the sensors, and I think it was so fast it didn't have time to finish processing and give me the reading, so I got an error on that. Unfortunately, because I just wanted to see it on the optical too, but it is what it is. Let's see what we get from the 150 here. All right, another perfect placement right there. Let's go check these things out. All right, let's take a look at this stuff down here. Absolutely no surprise. Very, very nice performance from both of these. Although you do have some pretty significant differences as far as the fragmentation. So we'll start here on the top. That one right there was the 155. I absolutely love this round. There's just something about this round I think is just almost perfect for a 10 mil. You can see it comes in here just massive energy disruption, just tons of energy dumped right there. Pretty much all of it immediately dumped right there. Now you do have a little bit of fragmentation. You can probably see the little bit of lead here, tiny little specks of lead. Keeps on trucking through this first block. This one stops, I want to say about 1.5 inches, 2 inches from the end of this first block. And as always, you have absolutely beautiful expansion to go with that penetration. And then down below that, pretty big difference in the fragmentation like I mentioned. You can see here now, definitely not anything I would call a bad 10 mil round, but you can tell here, it comes in, this one goes all to pieces immediately. Again, the same thing, big pile of energy dump right there, but it comes all two pieces. I mean, you got tons of lead right there, piles and piles of lead. Plus you got some jacket there, you got more lead that continues, some coming down there, more jacket here, and then your projectile keeps on trucking. This one actually went probably about half an inch further than the 155. That would be just probably because of just so jagged, sideways, going whichever way. And again, tons and tons of fragmentation. You got fragmentation still going on right here, even at the end of its travel. But again, you probably still got a decent little chunk left, and especially for two-legged use, there's absolutely no doubt that would 100% get the job done. But as far as the penetration on them, the one up top here, the 155, it is exactly 14 inches of penetration, so absolutely beautiful, perfect from that one right there. And then down below that, the 150 is out to 14 3/4. So again, absolutely perfect penetration amount from both of those. I think so far either one would make a very nice carry round. And here's your closer look at them. Again, on the tops, the 155, you can see got a few little pieces of lead, probably a couple little speckles on through there, but not a whole lot. Keep on going through the track, and then there you can see the projectile incredibly nicely expanded. Going back down here to the 150, you can see, I mean, look at all that fragmentation. Tons of lead right there, tons and tons of lead. More fragmentation all the way through this track, even more going on, and even more all the way right there to the end. But again, it looks like you do still have a decent little chunk of lead left from that one. And then here you go from the top. This is pretty hard to see because they're almost right on top of each other, but you can see the little bit of lead there on the top from the 155. A couple of extra little specks there. I don't know if that's chunks of lead or cloth, but could be some more lead. But then you can follow it all the way through here. Just fantastic. I just really like the performance from that 155. All right, let's take a look at these projectiles, y'all. Pretty big difference right here. This one is the 155. You can see, I mean, that's a beautiful mushroom. That is absolutely beautiful right there. That's about all the expansion you could hope to get out of this thing without it just wrapping up under the base and causing havoc. I mean, that's perfect. That is absolutely perfect right there from that 155. And in the 150 here, you can see big difference. Tons of fragmentation on this one. It just kind of gets all mangled up because of that. It starts going sideways and twirling all around, and a much smaller size there. You can see much smaller because of all that loss. But let's get some numbers and see how much they did actually lose. We'll start with the 155 here. And that one's at 150.2, so a little bit of loss there, but not much at all. And then this 150 here, that one's all the way down to 102.4, so quite a bit lost from that 150. And then we'll do our sizes. We should see a pretty good difference right here too. We'll start with this 155 again. You got 635 and 632, so very nice even expansion from that one. And then this 150 here, this one's gonna be really uneven. You got 513 and 510, so once again, nice expansion right there, but you just lost so much material that you had a pretty good difference in the final size and the final weight between these two. And there you go, y'all, the Underwood 10mm 155 versus 150 grain. Very strange results here, I guess you could say. Not totally unexpected, not unexpected at all as far as the gel performance, but the velocity definitely unexpected there. Different than what I've seen in the past from this 155 for whatever reason. All of that being said, I'm still picking the 155 if I'm choosing between these two. I don't think either one of these is a failure, not even close to a failure. Both of these are putting down some serious energy and would do some serious damage. But if I had to pick one, it's going to be this 155. Now, I will admit that's based on some of my past testing. You know, I've got the luxury of being able to think back, look back, and just how everything feels and how everything acts. So that is based partly on that. If I had to call a winner just solely based on this one particular instance right here, I mean, this 150 has just marginal more energy, but I'm still picking the 155. The marginal energy, I mean, it's not enough difference to make any kind of difference, but this performance in the gel you're seeing right here is definitely more difference than the difference you're seeing in the velocity and energy. But let me know down in the comments what y'all think about it. If you had to pick one, I guess just based on even just this particular instance right here, which one would it be? All right, y'all, I think I'm gonna wrap it up right there for some more good 10 mil performance. Not a whole lot left to say on this one right here. Again, I think both of these gave you some very nice performance performance. Definitely surprising as far as the velocity from that 155 though. I don't know what the deal is there. Is it a fluke? Is it just, is stuff like that just happens? I mean, you're within, you know, extreme spreads from all some previous tests, so it just is what it is as far as that velocity. In my opinion though, I still think that 155 is a superior round. I think that particular projectile, even though I'm not the biggest XTP fan, y'all know, but in this case, that 155 XTP just absolutely works. I mean, it just works every single time. It's done basically that same performance minus the lower velocity, but again, you're still knocking on the door of 700 foot-pounds. I would like to see that 1500 though. I mean, especially out of a G20, that's what it's advertising, so that's really what I want. But really nice performance either way. Let me know down in the comments what y'all think about it, and let me know again, if y'all had to pick based on just this performance right here between these two rounds, which one would it be? If you enjoyed the video, as always, reach down and hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you've got those notifications turned on so you get notified when I upload stuff. Take a second if you're doing some shopping and hit up those affiliate links in the video description. Anything you grab after hitting those links helps out the channel, so I really do appreciate that. Huge thanks as always to all my Range Gang members and every single one of y'all for supporting the channel. I've got one more test planned for out here today, so stay on the lookout for that. And in the meantime, stay safe, stay prepared, and I'll see you soon.